Now that everything's set, we are ready. Let's go. Garage is closed. We're good. As I drive to the car wash, just want to let you guys know that I love my Scat Pack. Now, I used to own a Hellcat, but due to some things that was out of my control, I ended up giving the vehicle back and eventually deciding to go check out a wide body Scat Challenger. So I went there, test drove the wide body, and I loved it. And I'm not really a Challenger guy, but I love that car. Like, it is something about the wide body where you just feel more planted and you just feel like you can do more. And it was a manual, so there's nothing wrong with that, if you know what I mean. I've driven manuals before. I used to own a 2011 CTSV sedan. It was a manual, and I have to say, out of all the cars I've owned, let me roll the windows up. Out of all the cars I have owned, that CTSV was hands down my favorite. And I say that because when I bought it, it was used. You could tell it had a little bit of wear and tear on it. And the previous owner, I can imagine, he drove that car. It only had about 34,000 miles on it when I bought it. So to me, that was still very low miles and great condition. Now, when I first started that car up, I could immediately tell that there was an aftermarket exhaust on it. So I ended up checking into it, and it had a full header back exhaust system on it, and it had been tuned. And from the startup, I knew I loved that car. I just loved the experience. I loved the interior. I loved the fact that it was a manual 6-speed. Like I said, the interior was great. It was in good condition. A little bit of outside, little wear and tear nicks, but that comes with the years of driving a car, and I didn't expect nothing less for it being a 2011. What I really cared about was the low miles. But once I saw the screen, you know, it can come up and go in the dash, I knew that, okay, I'm in something different. And for me to experience something like that at that time, I was like, oh, this is super nice. And guess what? I can afford it, you know, at the time. Ended up paying, like, I think it was about 40, 42 out the door. And that's because the car that I traded in before had a little bit of nag on it. So I put a couple grand down and I left with the car. Long story short, like I say, the car was just a good car. And you know, you get on the highway, you punch it, you hear that supercharger whine. It had me sold instantly. I wanted it. Closed the deal, got the car. So now I'm riding around in a car that I think is really fast. So I'm like, I want to dyno this thing. So we had a dyno day up here down at the Mustang shop. Took the car down there. Me and a buddy, he had a E63 at the time, Mercedes. So we just wanted to know where our cars were. Now, I kind of figured, since it started around, I think they're about 535, 540, 545, something to the crank. So I figured maybe 490. I don't know. So we put the car on a dyno. I'm gonna have to find that video and possibly post it. We put the car on a dyno. First run, I believe it was 519 wheel horsepower. Now, to me, I felt instantly gratified knowing that I have a car with over 500 horsepower to the wheels, and that's one of the first times I ever had a car like break that 500s, and I loved it. It was a great experience. Like I said, I love that car. Due to different circumstances or some type of circumstances, I eventually got rid of the car. I probably should have kept it. By now, that car would have probably had about 800 wheel horsepower, and it would probably been the craziest type of wrap you could see on the car. I know it. I know how I am with cars. Like I said, I've had my fair share. So I traded that car in for a C7 Corvette Stingray. Now, I'm a huge Corvette fan. Huge. Like, one of the people that inspired me to get a Corvette was Corvette's 918. He inspired me to get a Corvette. So when I got the Corvette, you know, it's a different type of car. I'm not even gonna lie. It's a different type of car. When you get in it and you're driving around and people see you in a Corvette, they lose their mind. I don't know why. It had the removable top. Everybody know the removable hard top. You just store it in your trunk. And that car garnered a lot of attention. And I put some money into that car. You know, I had it looking the way I wanted it. Had it half wrapped, wheels powder coated, you know, tire lettering, the works. You know, I thought that was the car that I wanted to keep, and it could have been something I kept. But I'm a firm believer in you got to maximize every aspect of a car. So I bought the Corvette for the wrong reason. Ended up realizing that it sat more than I drove it. So I was like, I need something with 5 seats. Like, I have kids, my fiance, you know, so we used to cruise around in the van, and it was good for us too. But, you know, we got kids, so we like, okay. I'm like, okay, we need something with 5 seats. So, long story short, bring it back to the Scat Pack wide body. Now, like I said, the car was great. I wanted it. We sat down, we ran the numbers. The numbers were astronomical. Mind you, I'm getting brand new. I only get brand new cars. I know people say, don't do it, it's taboo, don't buy new, buy used, whatever. I'm a firm believer in warranties. So I wanted cars with warranties, because if anything fails on the car, guess what? They're coming to get it. They're gonna fix it, and I'm not gonna be charged for it. I'm not rich. I don't got a lot of money. I'm just somebody who knows how to maneuver his finances. So that's why I believed in the warranty. So they came back with the numbers, and the car payment was just extremely high. And I'm a guy who, I look at car payments as it's gonna be part of my life. You know, some people like, oh, I'd rather have a car with this payment, or I'd rather have a car that's paid off. No, me, I'd rather have a new car that I ain't got to worry about anything. And the payment is not really an issue to me, or it wasn't. But that price and that payment was astronomical. And I immediately was like, no, that's not happening. So I was kind of disappointed. Like I said, I went up there for that wide body, that specific wide body Challenger, and it fell through. So I had a fallback, which was the Charger. I wanted a Charger, and I knew I wanted a Scat Pack. I was not going to leave out there with nothing less than a Scat Pack 392. Now, I originally was going to get a white one with black stripes. I saw it on a lot. I looked at it. We ran the numbers. But then I was like, hold on. Let me look again. So I went back up there, looked at all the cars, and I seen B, which is the Charger I have now, B5 Blue, Scat Pack. Right beside her was a B5 Blue Hellcat. You know, my eyes opened up when I looked at that Hellcat. But in my mind, I had already knew that trying to get that Hellcat, it was going to come with a crazy payment. And I was like, no, I'm not going to do that. It just don't make sense. So I was like, okay, let's run the numbers. So you know, car dealerships, they play their games, they do the numbers, blah, 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 blah. We went back and forth for a while. Finally, I said, look, this is what I want. This is the payment number I want. I don't want any of the coverages, none of that extra stuff. I only want gap insurance. Now, people going to say, oh, you shouldn't get gap insurance through the dealer. You should get it elsewhere, blah, 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 blah. I've been around cars. I know what I'm doing. I don't really care about their opinion on that. I had to maneuver real quick. Yeah, all I really cared about was the gap insurance. So they came back with the final numbers. And they were to my liking. So I said, let's do the deal. So we finished the deal. I left my truck there. My fiance came and picked it up later. And I drove off with MB. B5 Blue, 392 Charger, Scat Pack. And ever since I got this car, I purchased this car in February, mind you. February 2019. Since I've had her, I've probably put, I'm not even gonna put the number into it, but I have the car looking the way I want, and it's being set up for what I want to do in the future. Like, there'll be a video on the exterior and everything of the car so you can see the way it looks, and you guys will see that this is a build for the future, and this is gonna be my journey. Now, like I say, some people will say, well, Russ, why didn't you just get a used Hellcat or get another Hellcat or whatever? And like I said, I stated in my reasons, new Hellcats are overpriced to me, unless you have zero negative equity and if you have a nice down payment. Oh, nasty bump. Now, used Hellcats, oh yeah, they're in the range and they're good. It's just, you don't know the use of that Hellcat and what the person before you was doing in it or whatever. And like I said, I'm a firm believer in warranties, so I just want everything warranted. Now, in saying that, I am going to build this car. I'm going to build the motor. I'm going to do all this. I know people are going to say, well, you talk about warranties, but you're going to void your warranty when you start touching the motor. And I get that. And it makes sense. You're right. But until I do that, my car is warranted, and I can enjoy and do whatever I want with no hesitation, no repercussion, thinking that something's going to happen and blah, blah, blah. So until I do that, my car is fully warranted. I've had 0 issues with the car in what is going on 4 months that I had it. So it's no big deal to me at this moment. But I will say my end goal is to be able to keep up and beat Hellcats. Now stay tuned for further information on that, on exactly what I'm going to do as far as my build. I'll hit you guys back in the next video. Peace.